September 19th, 1941. Cold morning mist hangs over the English Channel as a convoy of German barges moves steadily toward the British coast. On one of them, soldiers from Germany's 16th Army grip their weapons, their boots slick with seawater splashing over the deck. The air smells of fuel and salt, and tension thickens with every wave. Around them, hundreds of other vessels creep through the grey water, carrying men and machines toward England. Suddenly, thunderous blasts tear through the calm. Nearby boats have struck hidden mines. The sea erupts in fire and chaos. Without hesitation, soldiers leap into the freezing surf, wading through waves as bullets begin to rain down from British defences ahead. Some fall before reaching land, but others push on, driven by orders and fear alike. Their mission: to reach London and break Britain's resistance. This invasion is called Operation SeaLion, Germany's daring attempt to conquer Great Britain. The plan aims to seize southern England, capture London, and force the British to surrender quickly so Germany can shift its focus eastward. Success depends on a fragile balance of sea and air power, both of which are uncertain. After Dunkirk, Hitler believes Britain is weakened and vulnerable. Yet crossing the Channel is no easy task. The Luftwaffe, Germany's air force, must destroy the Royal Air Force and protect the invasion fleet from British attacks. The German Navy, the Kriegsmarine, cannot match the powerful Royal Navy, so air superiority becomes vital. The Luftwaffe is also responsible for dropping supplies and deploying elite Fallschirmjäger paratroopers to cripple defences and clear the way for ground troops. Meanwhile, the Kriegsmarine prepares an undersea blockade to cut Britain's supply routes. Because Germany lacks enough landing ships, they gather every available vessel, barges, cargo ships, tugs, and even captured enemy boats. By August, nearly 1,100 barges, 168 merchant ships, 386 tugs and trawlers, and 1,600 motorboats are ready for use. The invasion is organized into three waves. The first wave of infantry divisions, followed by tanks and artillery, and finally, reserve forces. Around 260,000 soldiers are expected to participate. Engineers design new tactics and modify tanks to move through shallow water, providing cover as men storm the beaches under enemy fire. German leaders choose rocky southern beaches for the attack, hoping to mislead British defences by pretending to target East Anglia instead. Once they land, troops are to march north toward London and take control of southern England. But Britain holds the advantage. Its coastal defences, radar stations, patrol aircraft, and powerful navy make any surprise impossible. The weather and tides also work against the Germans, making their movements predictable. Still, the British Army, though battered from Dunkirk, fights on home ground with fortified positions and local support. The Home Guard, though inexperienced, stands ready to defend their towns. Operation SeaLion calls for a massive front from east of Brighton to west of Dover, with forces converging north toward London. By mid-September, Hitler grows restless. He believes the Luftwaffe has crushed the Royal Air Force. Radar stations are damaged, airfields destroyed, and pilots lost. Convinced that the skies belong to Germany, he prepares to launch the invasion. But reality tells a different story. German intelligence fails completely. Every spy sent into Britain is caught or turned, feeding false information back to Berlin. The invasion unravels before it begins. German planners face a series of difficult decisions regarding Operation SeaLion, the planned invasion of Great Britain. They must choose between launching the invasion quickly, while British air defences remain weakened, or delaying it to prepare more thoroughly, risking that the Royal Air Force, RAF, will recover and strengthen. The situation becomes even more complex due to growing American aid to Britain. Through the cash and carry program, the United States and British colonies send food, fuel, and war materials across the Atlantic. These shipments help sustain Britain's war economy and military readiness, reducing the pressure that Germany hopes to exploit. Germany, however, has several factors in its favour. The Kriegsmarine, German Navy, benefits from the fact that the Royal Navy does not destroy the German fleet anchored at the port of Maribor, this fleet remains available to support the cross-channel invasion. In addition, weather conditions in the English Channel during September 1940 are unusually calm, lowering the risk of capsizing the shallow draft barges that Germany plans to use for transporting troops and equipment. Despite these advantages, Germany still faces major naval and logistical challenges. The Royal Navy remains one of the most powerful maritime forces in the world. Although it is spread thin across multiple theatres, it continues to control critical sea lanes that supply Britain with food and war materials. The Navy must protect the home islands while also maintaining operations in the Mediterranean, where British forces fight against both German and Italian fleets. Submarine warfare, especially from German U-boats, causes significant losses to British shipping and warships, but the Royal Navy continues to function effectively. The Luftwaffe, Germany's air force, has developed improved anti-ship tactics after earlier failures. However, success against the Royal Navy is still uncertain. Bombing moving ships at sea remains difficult, and German aircraft face the ongoing threat of British anti-aircraft fire and RAF fighter interception. These unresolved problems raise doubts about whether the Luftwaffe can provide the level of air cover needed to protect an amphibious invasion fleet. Nevertheless, Adolf Hitler decides to move forward. Operation SeaLion is scheduled for the fall of 1940, with the invasion set to begin once weather and tides align favorably. By September 19th, Germany's invasion force is assembled and ready to strike across the Channel. Soldiers of the Wehrmacht are crowded onto barges, tugs, and converted merchant ships. Overhead, Luftwaffe bombers, fighters, and transport planes prepare to lead the assault. The plan calls for German paratroopers to land behind British defences and secure key positions before the main landing forces arrive. As dawn approaches, the first waves of aircraft cross the Channel. In the skies north and east of London, transport planes carry elite Fallschirmjäger paratroopers who are expected to disrupt communications, seize bridges, and prevent reinforcements from reaching the beaches. However, the British Early Warning Network detects the approach almost immediately. RAF patrol aircraft and Royal Navy picket ships spot the incoming formations and alert British command. Within minutes, coastal anti-aircraft batteries open fire, lighting the sky with tracer rounds. Hidden RAF airfields, which the Luftwaffe believes to be destroyed, suddenly come alive. Reserve fighter squadrons scramble into the air and engage the German bombers and transports. The airborne assault collapses quickly. Many German transport planes are shot down before reaching their drop zones. Those paratroopers who do land find themselves scattered, isolated, and under heavy fire from British troops and members of the Home Guard. Some are killed before they can even remove their parachutes. Without coordinated action, the paratroopers fail to destroy bridges or communication centers, and the planned sabotage operations never occur. While the air battle rages, the main German landing force continues to advance across the Channel. From the British coast, observers see hundreds of barges, trawlers, and cargo ships slowly moving toward the beaches. The Royal Navy immediately mobilizes nearby fleets to intercept. British destroyers and cruisers push into the Channel, breaking through the weaker Axis naval screen protecting both ends of the invasion corridor. The Luftwaffe, already fully engaged in air combat over southern England, cannot provide sufficient protection for the invasion fleet. British warships begin targeting the slow-moving German vessels. The barges, never designed for open sea travel, prove highly vulnerable. Many are overturned by waves or collisions. Others are destroyed by naval gunfire. In the confusion, some German ships drift off course and enter minefields, suffering additional losses. The Kriegsmarine attempts to respond, but its smaller ships cannot effectively challenge the larger and more heavily armed British vessels. As the Royal Navy pushes deeper into the Channel, German losses increase rapidly. Barges loaded with soldiers and vehicles are sunk before they can reach the beaches. Larger transport ships carrying tanks and artillery are struck mid-channel and destroyed. Communications between units collapse, leaving German commanders unable to coordinate their forces. Meanwhile, Luftwaffe fighters and dive bombers return to base for refueling and rearming, leaving the fleet temporarily without air cover. During this period, the Royal Navy inflicts catastrophic damage on the invasion flotilla. By the time German aircraft return to the skies, much of the fleet has already been destroyed or scattered. The third planned wave of reinforcements never launches. By the end of the day, the invasion has failed. Britain's combined naval and air defenses successfully repel the assault before any significant German forces land on the beaches. The Wehrmacht suffers heavy casualties and loses a large number of ships, aircraft, and equipment. The failure of Operation SeaLion shocks Hitler and the German High Command. The invasion, which was intended to deliver a swift and decisive blow to Britain, instead exposes the limits of German power at sea and in the air. The defeat demonstrates that without full control of the skies and seas, a cross-channel invasion is impossible. In the aftermath, Hitler cancels further invasion attempts. The focus shifts from direct assault to blockade warfare. Germany intensifies its U-boat campaign, aiming to cut Britain off from overseas supplies and starve it into submission. However, the failure of Operation SeaLion carries long-term consequences. The loss of men, ships, and aircraft weakens Germany's overall military strength. The illusion of invincibility that had surrounded the German war machine since its victories in Poland, France, and the Low Countries begins to fade. Within the High Command, doubts arise about the feasibility of future large-scale operations. Although Hitler continues to plan for an invasion of the Soviet Union, the setbacks in the West force him to reconsider his timelines. The delay caused by the failed invasion attempt disrupts logistics, consumes resources, and exposes the vulnerabilities of Germany's armed forces. By late 1940, German military planners recognized the dangers of a rushed invasion of Great Britain. The Luftwaffe has not yet secured complete control of the skies, and the Kriegsmarine remains inferior to the Royal Navy. Realizing these weaknesses, senior officers convinced Adolf Hitler to postpone Operation SeaLion until the spring of 1941. The delay is intended to allow time for more preparation, mine clearance, and equipment production. Time, however, benefits both sides. As Germany reorganizes, the British strengthen their defenses. Supplies continue to arrive from the United States and the Commonwealth through the cash and carry program, providing Britain with food, raw materials, and fuel. Across southern England, the defenders build a dense network of fortifications, anti-tank obstacles, pillboxes, trenches, barbed wire, and beach defenses, designed to slow or destroy any landing attempt. During the following months, the Kriegsmarine focuses on clearing naval mines from the English Channel. German air units intercept British mine-laying ships and protect the sea lanes being prepared for the invasion fleet. By early 1941, the Luftwaffe has reorganized its bomber and fighter squadrons to support amphibious landings more effectively. Although the Royal Air Force remains a threat, its strength is limited by fuel shortages and the ongoing need to defend industrial areas and cities from bombing raids. American support continues to bolster Britain's defensive capacity, though it cannot yet provide enough aircraft to guarantee full control of southern England's skies. German planners calculate that the Luftwaffe can still provide sufficient air cover over the landing beaches and paratrooper drop zones to allow the initial waves of the invasion to succeed. The RAF will have to choose which regions to defend, unable to cover the entire coastline simultaneously. Meanwhile, the Royal Navy, though powerful, must divide its strength between the North Sea, Atlantic convoy protection, and the Mediterranean theatre. On April 1, 1941, the invasion begins. The single code word, Cromwell, is transmitted through British communication channels, signalling the start of the operation. From ports across northern France, German troops assemble under heavy security and board barges, ferries, and transport ships. A coordinated plan has been developed. Early morning bombing runs to weaken British defences, followed by paratrooper drops under the command of General Kurt Student. German airborne forces achieve partial success. Paratroopers land across multiple points in southern England, destroying several key bridges, cutting telephone and telegraph lines, and ambushing small British units caught off guard. However, scattered landings and communication problems prevent them from fully isolating British defensive positions. In some zones, British Home Guard and local army units quickly counterattack. forcing the paratroopers into defensive positions. As dawn breaks, waves of German aircraft sweep across the southern coastline, striking coastal artillery batteries, radar installations, and communication centers. Bombing runs damage several fortifications and cause confusion among defenders. The threat of air attack forces British commanders to move cautiously, delaying their immediate response to the advancing German fleet. By mid-morning, the first wave of German infantry divisions approaches the English coast. The landing areas vary in resistance. Some beaches appear lightly defended, while others are heavily fortified. The invasion fleet, a mix of barges, trawlers, and converted cargo vessels, moves through rough surf under constant threat from mines and British artillery. German soldiers disembark into waist-deep water and struggle toward the shore. They encounter dense minefields, steel obstacles, and layers of barbed wire. British machine gun nests and artillery positions open fire as the Germans approach. Many landing craft are destroyed before reaching the sand, and casualties mount quickly. General Alan Brooke, commander of British Home Forces, soon realizes that his defensive preparations are uneven. Many of Britain's regular army and armored divisions are positioned too far inland to immediately block the landings. German troops manage to establish small footholds on several less defended beaches. Around 10 German divisions form the first assault wave. At a few isolated sites, they secure beachheads and move inland before encountering a second, stronger British defensive line composed of tanks, artillery, and fresh infantry units. German panzers, modified for amphibious operations, provide limited support. Their numbers are too small to sustain a broad offensive, and heavy equipment from the second wave has not yet arrived. The troops who land unopposed attempt to move laterally along the coast to reinforce comrades pinned under heavy fire. British units regroup and form defensive lines several miles inland, preparing for counterattacks. General Brooke orders a rapid armored counterattack to contain the German advance and push the invaders back into the sea. However, British armored formations face coordination and navigation problems. Many tank units struggle to reach the front lines in time. Poor communication, road congestion, and Luftwaffe airstrikes disrupt their movements. German Stuka dive bombers target advancing British tanks and artillery positions, while British anti-aircraft batteries respond with heavy fire. Air battles intensify over the beaches. Reserve RAF squadrons scramble to intercept German bombers and fighters, engaging in chaotic dogfights above the southern coast. Despite British resistance, the Luftwaffe maintains local air superiority for much of the day. Continuous bombing damages coastal fortifications and disrupts British troop concentrations, though losses among German aircraft remain significant. Meanwhile, small groups of Royal Navy warships break through the German naval screen on the western flank of the channel. British destroyers and cruisers steam at full speed toward the invasion zones, attacking German transport ships and escort vessels. In several sectors, they sink or disable numerous landing craft and supply ships. However, constant Luftwaffe attacks force the Royal Navy to retreat temporarily to preserve its remaining vessels. Despite these naval counterattacks, more than half of Germany's second and third invasion waves managed to land successfully. Reinforcements bring additional artillery, anti-tank guns, and vehicles ashore. German commanders work quickly to link scattered beachheads into a single, continuous front. The Luftwaffe continues to harass British naval units, attempting to interfere with the invasion. Fighter bombers conduct repeated attacks on destroyers and support ships, allowing more German vessels to reach the shore. RAF fighter squadrons, heavily outnumbered and running low on fuel, pull back to defend London and other vital areas. With control of the air and temporary security over the invasion lanes, General Franz Halder, overseeing the invasion plan, orders additional reinforcements by sea and air. The Wehrmacht pushes inland, advancing into fortified British positions. However, the geography of southern England and the concentration of British defenders limit German progress. The terrain, combined with the dense defensive network and the lack of sufficient armored support, prevents a full breakthrough. German forces continue to move northward, but at heavy cost. Supply lines across the Channel remain fragile, with constant risk from British submarines, mines, and renewed naval attacks. Replacing lost troops and equipment proves difficult, and communication between the invasion beachheads and command centers in France remains inconsistent. By the end of the first day, Germany controls several small pockets of territory along the southern coast, but none are deep or secure. The Luftwaffe has achieved partial dominance over the beaches, yet cannot prevent British reinforcement of inland positions. The Royal Navy, though battered, still threatens German supply routes. Supplying the invasion with fuel and food grows more difficult as the Royal Navy and RAF continue to strike German cargo ships and transport planes over several weeks of fighting. By the winter of 1941, the campaign reaches a stalemate, with German forces still positioned several kilometers from London. Though trained in combined arms tactics, the Wehrmacht faces constant and organized British resistance. Each captured trench or destroyed strongpoint is replaced by another. The defenders quickly adjust to German methods, adopting a layered defense strategy designed to wear down the attackers through attrition. As the struggle continues, both Hitler and the British government recognize that the current situation cannot last. In London, Parliament holds a vote of no confidence in Prime Minister Winston Churchill, leading to his replacement by Edward Wood, Lord Halifax, who begins peace talks with Germany. Negotiations result in a fragile armistice. Under its terms, Britain agrees to acknowledge Germany's territorial control on the continent, while Hitler orders his troops to withdraw from British soil. The Wehrmacht emerges exhausted, with depleted manpower, strained logistics, and a damaged sense of invincibility. Despite these losses, Hitler remains determined to continue his expansion eastward. He redirects his weakened army toward the Soviet Union, rescheduling Operation Barbarossa for the spring of 1942. Meanwhile, Britain, battered but still standing, begins to rebuild its forces and industry. Both nations prepare for the next phase of the conflict. Had Operation SeaLion proceeded differently, a German failure could have ended the Reich's hopes of ever attacking the USSR. Yet a German success might have transformed the entire war, leaving Britain isolated, America hesitant, and the Soviet Union exposed, a scenario whose outcome remains uncertain.